Hello, and welcome to another episode of What's Inside. Today we're looking at This War of Mine, the board game. Put up by 11-Bit Studios and Galacta. It's based on a video game of the same name. And the general premise is that you're survivors of a war that's either going on or just finished up. And you're holed up in this house and you have to create equipment and scavenge for stuff. It's an interesting premise and it looks really cool. This one is for 1 to 6 players. Takes about 45 minutes to 2 hours. Ages 14 and up. 18 and up, sorry. Adult themes and all that. So, this is pretty challenging. There's a lot to go through, so let's get right into it and see what's inside. If I can figure out how to get the plastic off. You'd think after more than 400 episodes I'd know how to open stuff, but here we are. Alright, this is a very heavy box. This is the Kickstarter one, so box art probably isn't going to vary, but it might. Now this one's real interesting because there's no rule book. It's a journal that you go through that tells you, what's going on. And then there's the book of scripts, which is your stories. And there's different reference numbers. Kind of like Mythos Tales or Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, from what I could tell. Now, what little I know about this game is based on some YouTube videos and the Kickstarter information. And it looks like this is done with... these arrows represent the next player. So when you reach one of these arrows, you pass the book on, and that person will do until the next arrow. It's pretty cool, interesting way of doing player changes, and whoever has the book is in charge. So they're the leader, they make the decision. You can vote on it, but they still have ultimate say. Alright, here's your save sheets. These get a little banged up, a little knocked in the corner there, but there's not a whole lot of these here, so you'll want to make copies most likely. It says permission granted to photocopy for personal use. So there's quite a bit going on, and it is two-sided. So, yeah. Oh, they gave you some bags for tokens. Look how big these are. That's awesome, though. It's a little thing, but it's one of those little details that is usually overlooked. Alright, then we've got general sheet here, set up. Then there's a different scenario here, Endless Night. This is just two-sided, The Last Day and Endless Night. These are just different scenarios. And here we have our token sheets. First one, we've got some misery tokens. And as you can see, there's 3 spots on these. Then we've got bandages down here, some blank ones, alcohol, moonshine, shovel, guitar, knife, cigarettes, prowess, some letters, and some colored ones here, board up, wait, herbs, that sort of thing, canned food, general survival type stuff that anybody that's played Dead of Winter, Crossroads will be familiar with the general concepts here. And what's really cool is these are actually notched up in the corner here for easy removal. So I don't know how well that's going to show up, but it's pretty cool. Alright, this token sheet has more boards, some cold markers, raw food, canned food, jewelry, prowess tokens. I think these are just like randos that you find that you can fight. Mechanical parts, illness tokens, hunger tokens, some more misery tokens, meds, bandages, herbal meds that'll probably just give you a rash. Yeah, these are really nice quality tokens too. They're good and thick. Not as thick as like the Cthulhu Wars boards, but they're very well done actually. I'm actually pretty impressed. Very good coloring. This is not cheaply made, so you're gonna get your money's worth for sure. This is retailing for about 80 bucks plus shipping, and everybody that's selling it right now is charging exorbitant amounts for shipping. most likely when this finally hits the store in sorry about my phone, when it hits the stores in October, it'll probably be about 80 to 100 bucks, so you can expect that. Alright, here's the board, and then there's all the rest of our stuff. There's a lot of cards here, so this is going to be a long episode, so I apologize, but there's quite a bit to go over. So we'll look at the board real quick, then we'll get to this stuff. Alright, so folds out like this, and then it folds down, so it's a 6-section map. So if you don't have a big kitchen table, like this, my kitchen table is real small, as you've seen several times, and it has a little trouble holding something this large, as I'm knocking everything over. Alright, so let's see how much of this I can get on here. Yeah, everything's falling. Alright. I don't want to move the cameras around because that's a giant pain and it takes forever, and this episode's going to be really long as it is. So we have locations up here, then we've got far, distant, close, findings pile. I would have called that loot, but findings sounds a lot better than looting. Then we've got some more findings, exploration, residence, night raids, unknown. Then we've got objectives up here. We've got visitors, we've got characters, and then fittings, fate, narrative actions, colors. There's a storehouse, water, pokeabout parts, pokeabout wood components, wild garden, rubble, closed doors, rubble, closed door, bars, closed door. And now with these closed doors, you have to find something to pry them open. The bars you need to cut through or find other ways in. So a lot of these rooms will be kind of off limits. And here you have sleep on the floor until you can find or build a bed. So there's always a chance you could go looting, but you have to do like work on the house during the day, and at night you have to have somebody to guard the stuff so that looters don't come in and take your crap while you're out scavenging at night. So it's a really cool board game. It looks really awesome. On the back is a different board. And this one has events, objectives, visitors, characters, fittings, idea, fate, narrative action, colors, storage, all that sort of thing. So there's just a different layout and more options sort of thing. I think one's really designed for like first player and one is designed for multiplayer, but don't quote me on that. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. But yeah, that looks really cool. Alright, so let's get into all these tokens and cards. Alright. So here's one deck, 2 decks, here's some dice, some little marker thingies for characters. There's your characters. There's some bits. There's our 3rd deck. And our 4th deck. So let me adjust the camera and we'll get a close look at these. Oh, one thing to note is that there is a section to insert here. You probably saw that a second ago, but I like to point it out so you can put everything where it needs to go. And obviously, based on how many sections there are, there's probably quite a few decks within decks here. So let's double check underneath for hidden stuff. Nope. Never know. Time Story has taught me always look under the inserts. Alright. Give me 1 minute to adjust this. It'll be a second for you. Alright, so aside from the big thick board, which is really nice by the way, that's a really nice play board, even if it is 6 sections, which generally I don't like because the hinges tend to give. Take care of this one, it should last you a while. It looks pretty good quality. Nice matte finish, no cheap gloss, and the art's pretty solid too. Alright, so we got 4 dice here. We've got, and all except this D10 are unique to the game. So we've got one standard looking D10, and then we've got 3 specific dice that are specifically for this game, so good luck replacing them. You better hope they make these separate, and I don't think they do. So if you lose these, you're in some trouble. Alright, so on one side we've got this like squiggly thing. Then we've got a 3 marker, target marker, and then there's 3 dots, and then there's 2 targets. And then we've got 2 targets. And on the other side, we've got a whole bunch of little stars. So the 3 targets is across from a 2 target, and the other 2 target is across from the stars, and the weird squiggly circle thing is on the other side from the 3 dots. So if you lose this, then you can recreate that. It'll just be not as fun. Then we've got this gray die, which has a blank spot. Then that weird squiggly symbol again. And then another blank spot, which is directly across from the other blank spot. And then we've got 2 punchy fists. And then we turn it and we got punchy fist on one side and blank on the other. So punchy fist, blank, and then blank over here and a blank over here. And the weird squiggly thing is on the other side from the double punchy. Then we've got a yellow die, which has the weird squiggly thing again. Then 2 knives, blank, and then an axe. And 3 knives, and on the opposite of the 3 knives is 1 knife. So 1 knife, 3 knives back to back, and then we have the 2 knives across from the axe, and the weird squiggly line across from the blank. So that's the dice. Let's get them out of the way. Alright, let's look at the other little accessory pieces. Everything's bagged. It's really nice individually, so even within the one bag there's multiple little bags. So we got little plastic board tokens, probably for barricades. Let's see if I can figure out how to open a plastic bag. Oh, I'm so bad at this. Alright. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 little barricades. These are just little plastic pieces with little slash marks to represent fake wood. They're really cheap. It's really thin, kind of like... If you ever played with Lincoln Logs when they were plastic, or any plastic building blocks from like the 60s, that's the type of plastic it is. It's that real low-end, cheap stuff. And you can even hear it make that little clanky sound. That tells you it's low-end plastic. So these would probably break fairly easily. The dice are actually pretty nice, but these could have been better. I would almost rather have had wood, honestly. But these are just low-end plastic. And there's a dozen of them. So you could find something else to represent these if you lose them. Maybe like the road pieces from Catan or something. Alright, so let's get those out of the way. Then we've got just some standard little glass pieces like old Magic Life counters. There's 2, 4, 6 light blue and 1 red. Nothing fancy there, standard glass beads. You find somebody with an aquarium, you'll get some more. Alright, then we got little gear pieces here. These are slightly better plastic. And they just look like a little cog. Let's see how many of them we've got here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. 14 little gears. So these are really cool, actually. They look really neat. They're a little cheap, but they're definitely not as cheap as those fake wood pieces. So that's those. let's get these out of the way. They also make a sort of a cheap clanking sound, but they're made out of that same kind of thing they make the little plastic money for kids out of. But the higher end ones, not like the dollar store ones. So they're definitely better than the little plastic logs. Those are garbage. They could have done a little better on that. Alright, so let's get that out of the way, and let's look at the minis. Here's the bases for the minis. These are just little hollow inserts. They go around the base of the mini. We've got orange, yellow, blue, and green. It's weird they don't have red. Usually you have a red one. I find that kind of odd, actually. But I guess, what do I know? Alright, so you got a lot of different guys here. Sculpts look pretty good. So what you do is you just put these on the base like that, just like Zombicide or any of the other ones. The only difference is these are hollow. They're not one solid piece. There's that donut center missing. So we got 3 women, some sketchy dude with a hatchet, the guy, some even sketchier guy with a wrench. The future looks bleak if these are the survivors from a war. It's like a bunch of rednecks and some Antifa looking guy there. Some dude with a knife, all murdery looking. And some bookish woman. And some hobo. Yeah, so all these people look like drifters and serial killers. But the sculpts are pretty detailed. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. 12 survivors, I guess. I guess these are all player characters. And it looks like at least 5 of them are women. So it's gender parodied for the most part. Yeah, the minis are nice, lots of detail. They look pretty cool. Nothing, nothing really spectacular, but nothing bad to say about them. They're pretty neat. I'm not disappointed. They probably could have had a little more detail, but definitely not the worst sculpts I've ever seen. Yeah, I'd say they're above average. I wouldn't say middle of the road. I'd say they're above average because quality is pretty solid. Their legs are all pretty well molded, so they're not fragile or anything. It's not going to snap off like some of the Zombicide ones you'd worry about a little more. And they're nice size too, so there is that. So let's get these out of the way, and we'll start looking at the cards. Alright, so we got 4 decks here, so let's start with the one labeled Residence and see where that takes us. And as usual, I have trouble opening cellophane. Haha! I win! I win, cellophane! Alright, so let's see what else is in here. We got Residence, we've got Locations, and we have Events. Ooh, there's different types of events. There's events and ending events. Alright, so here's where I give the spoiler alert. We're going to go through the cards. If you don't want to know what these say, time to stop. If you don't care, keep going. This is a long video. There's a lot of cards to go through. You feel free to jump around. If I remember to, I'll try and put number codes in the description, but I probably won't. So, just be aware, we're going to get into spoiler territory. This is a game that it might actually matter what says on the cards. So, here we go. Residence. We got thugs. Determine the number of thugs encountered. Roll the black die. 1 through 3, 1. 4 through 7, 2. 8 through 10, 3. And draw location tokens. Question mark. Thugs are armed with A, knife, B, pistol, C, assault rifle. Combat begins automatically. See Journal Combat Sheet. You may try to stop the fight. See page 40. After defeating all enemies, see page 33. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the resident deck. Thugs. Determine the number of thugs encountered. Roll the black die. 1 to 4, 2. 5 to 7, 3. 8 to 10, 4. Draw their tokens. Question mark. Thugs are armed with A knife, B knife, C pistol. You may try to stop the fight, page 40. After defeating all enemies, see page 33. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the residence deck. Survivors. Determine the number of survivors encountered. Roll the black die. 1 to 2, 1. 3 to 8, 2. 9 to 10, 3. And draw their tokens. Question mark. Survivors are armed with A knife, B pistol, C assault rifle. Place this card on the exploration slot until you leave this location. Whenever you take anything from the pantry furniture, roll the black die. Results 1 through 4, see page 99. You may return one exploration card to talk to the survivors, see 638, or trade with them, see 723. At the end of scavenging, remove this card from the game. Survivors. Determine the number of survivors encountered. Roll the black die. 1 through 5, 2. 6 through 9, 3. 10, 4. And draw their tokens. Survivors are armed with A knife, B hatchet, C pistol. Place this card on the exploration slot until you leave this location. Whenever you take anything from pantry furniture, roll the black die. The result of 1 through 4, see page 99. Or see number 99. You may return one exploration card to talk to them, see 638, or trade with them, 723. At the end of scavenging, shuffle this card back into the resident deck. Soldiers. Determine the number of soldiers encountered. Roll the black die. 1 to 2, 1. 3 to 8, 2. 9 to 10, 3. And draw their tokens. Soldiers are armed with A pistol, B and C assault rifle. Either you surrender by discarding tokens from the findings pile with a total value of 10 or more, or combat begins. See Journal Combat Sheet. If you gave them the tokens, you may return one exploration card to talk to them. See 707. If there is combat, you may try to stop the fight, page 40. After defeating all enemies, page 30 or number 33. I'm going to keep saying page. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the deck. Rebels. Determine the number of rebels encountered. Roll the black die. 1 through 3, 1. 4 through 8, 2. 9 to 10, 3. And draw their tokens. Rebels armed with A knife, B pistol, C shotgun. Rebels are offering you some items. They have 1 moonshine and 1 cigarette to exchange. Trade commission 2. See journal trade sheet. If you do not trade, roll the black die. Result 1 through 5. See 779. If you trade, you may return 1 exploration token to talk to them. See 707 or trade. See 215. Reality impact. Something unexpected has happened. Draw a card from the colors deck to determine the color of the script. Then reveal the top card of the residence deck and check the number with that color on it. Find that number in the book of scripts and resolve the corresponding text. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the residence deck. Rats. Woo, there's nothing, just some rats. You may return 1 exploration card to try to catch one. Perform a backstab. See journal combat sheet. If the characters present deal 3 or more wounds, they manage to catch and kill something that might be edible after proper preparation. Add 1 raw food to the findings pile. Afterward, remove this card from the game. Another rats card. Homeless. A wreck of a human being begs you for some food. If you give him by discarding from the findings pile green-yellow tokens with a total value of 5 or more, roll the black die and compare the results with the empathy of each character present. Result equal to or less than a character's empathy, lower their misery by 1. If you do not give him the tokens and you have them in the findings pile, roll the black die and compare the results with the empathy of each character present. A result equal to or less than a character's empathy raises their misery by 1. Afterwards, remove this card from the game. Hobos. Oh no. Determine the number of hobos encountered. Roll the black die. 1 through 4, 2. 5 through 10, 3. Which just proves my theory that hobos roam in packs. Draw their tokens. Hobos are armed with A, nothing, B, knife, C, hatchet. Place this card on the exploration slot. Until you leave this location, whenever you take anything from an exploration card marked as private, roll the black die. Result 1 through 5, combat begins. See Journal Combat Sheet. If there is no combat, you may return 1 exploration card to talk to them, see 904. Or trade with them, go to 355. If there is combat, you may try to stop the fight, see 880. After defeating all enemies, see 33. Deserters. Determine the number of deserters encountered. Roll the black die. 1 to 4 is 1. 5 to 8, 2, and a result of 9 or 10 is a 3. Draw their tokens. Deserters armed with A, pistol, B, assault rifle, C, shotgun. Either you surrender by discarding all tokens you have in the findings pile, or combat begins. See Journal Combat Sheet. If you gave them everything you had, you may return 1 exploration token to talk to them. See 707. If there is combat, you may try to stop the fight. See 40. After defeating all enemies, see 33. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the residence deck. Civilians. It turns out there are miserable looking people hiding in here. Mostly elderly women, children. Place this card on the exploration slot. Until you leave this location, whenever you take anything from an exploration card marked as private, roll the black die and compare the result with the empathy of each character present. A result equal to or less than a character's empathy equals raise their misery by 1. You may return 1 exploration card to talk to them, see number 123, or trade with them, 993. And lastly, civilians. This looks like the same one we already had. Place this card on the exploration slot until you leave this location. Whenever you take anything from the exploration card marked as private, roll the black die and compare the result with the empathy of each character present. A result equal to or less than a character's empathy equals raise their misery by 1. You may return 1 exploration card to talk to them. See 123 or trade with them, 993. At the end of scavenging, remove this card from the game. Alright, so that's the residence cards. Let's get those out of the way. Alright, let's go to locations next. Okay, locations. First up we have warehouse. Return 2 exploration cards to have a look around the area, C159. This is an open space, basement entrance, bars, closed door. Special findings 1 through 3, nothing. 4 through 5, sugar. 6, 2 mechanical parts. 7 to 8, weapon part. 9, canned food. 10, hatchet. That's a very strange warehouse. Next location, supermarket. Return 2 exploration cards to have a look around, see 975. Basement entrance, bars, closed door. Special findings 1 through 3, nothing. 4, sugar. 5, 2 mechanical parts. 6, weapon part. 7, 100% alcohol. 8, caffeine. 9, cigarette. 10, vegetable. A lot of sugar in weird places. Locations. Sniper Junction. Return 2 exploration cards to have a look around. C67. At the beginning of scavenging, resolve 660. Return 6 exploration cards to trade. C107. Open space, basement entrance, rubble. Special findings 1 through 4, nothing. 5 through 6, shell. 7 through 8, ammo. 9 to 10, canned food. And probably a healthy serving of death. Alright, small apartment building. Return 2 exploration cards to have a look around the area. C808. Basement entrance. Special findings 1 through 5, nothing. 6, book. 7 through 8, electrical part. 9, cigarette. 10, raw food. These have sizes too. These are mediums, and the small apartment building is small. Location: Shelled School, medium. Return 2 exploration cards to have a look around the area. See 933. Rubble, basement entrance, jammed door. Special findings: 1 through 6, nothing. 7 shell, 8 chems, 9 electrical part, 10 bandages. Next we have a small ruined villa. Return 2 exploration cards to have a look around the area. See 422. Basement entrance, rubble, jam door. Special findings: 1 through 4, nothing. 5 book, 6 to 7 mechanical part, 8 to 9 raw food, 10 knife. Next we have ruined block of flats, small. Return 2 exploration cards to have a look around the area. See 601. Rubble, jam door, basement entrance. Special findings: 1 through 4, nothing. 5 mechanical part, 6 through 7 coffee, 8 through 10 vegetable. Quiet house, small. Return 2 exploration cards to have a look around the area. See 485. Basement entrance, closed door. Special findings: 1 through 3, nothing. 4 book, 5 chems, 6 herbal meds, 7 through 8 vegetable, 9 meds, 10 canned food. Old Town, large. Return 2 exploration cards to have a look around the area. See 829. Return 6 exploration cards to trade. See 55. Return 3 exploration cards to socialize with people. See number 689. Open space, rubble, jam door. Special findings: 1 through 4, nothing. 5 through 6 chems, 7 moonshine, 8 through 10 vegetable. Military outpost, large. Return 2 exploration cards to have a look around the area. See number 564. Always instead of drawing residents, see 448. Return 6 exploration cards to trade. See 97. Open space, bars, closed door. Special findings: 1 through 5, nothing. 6 or 7, 2 weapon parts. 8 broken pistol. 9 broken assault rifle. 10 pistol. Hotel, small. Return 2 exploration cards to have a look around the area. See 641. Basement entrance, closed door. Special findings: 1 through 5, nothing. 6 book, 7 cigarette, 8 coffee, 900% alcohol, 10 jewelry. Garage, medium. Return 2 exploration cards to have a look around the area. Sees 343. Bars, rubble. Special findings: 1 through 3, nothing. 4 through 5, 2 mechanical parts. 6 to 7, 2 electrical parts. 8 to 9, weapon part. 10 saw blade. Derelict squat, small. Return 2 exploration cards to have a look around the area. See 531. Closed door, basement entrance. Special findings: 1 through 6, nothing. 7 through 8, herbs. 9 weapon part. 10 meds. Construction site, medium. Return 2 exploration cards to have a look around the area. See 114. Open space, bars, rubble. Special findings: 1 through 4, nothing. 5 through 6, mechanical part. 7 through 9, vegetable. 10 shovel. City hospital, large. Return 2 exploration cards to have a look around the area. See number 746. Return 4 exploration cards to heal. See number 932. Return 6 exploration cards to trade. See 303. Closed door, basement entrance. Bars. Special findings: 1 through 3, nothing. 4 through 6, 2 chems. 7 herbal meds. 8 100% alcohol. 9 meds. 10 bandages. Next we have a medium church. Return 2 exploration cards to have a look around the area. See 244. Return 6 exploration cards to trade. See 902. Basement entrance, closed door, bars. Special findings 1 through 7, nothing. 8, 100% alcohol. 9 to 10, jewelry. They left out salvation. Central Square, large. Return 2 exploration cards to have a look around the area. See number 614. Return 6 exploration cards to trade. See 674. Return 3 exploration cards to socialize with people. See 191. Open space, rubble. Special findings 1 through 5, nothing. 6 through 7, shell. 8, chems. 9 to 10, cigarette. And lastly, abandoned cottage, small. Return 2 exploration cards to have a look around the area. See 260. Basement entrance, jammed door. Special findings 1 through 4, nothing. 5 through 6, mechanical part. 7, chems. 8 through 10, vegetable. That's those. So let's get those out of the way. And let's have a look at events. Alright, first event. Add 1 cold to the cold space. Snipers, place this card on the findings pile. If any card is already there, remove that card from the game. At the beginning of the scavenging phase, roll the red combat die for each scavenging character to determine if they were hit and how many wounds they suffered. Characters may use their prowess to re-roll the results. If at least 1 character was hit, immediately remove this card from the game. Shelling, add 1 cold to the cold space. If more than 1 character went scavenging during the previous night, your shelter becomes the target of a shelling. Distribute 2 wounds between any present characters and destroy 1 already built fitting card. Return it to the fittings deck. After you resolve this card, remove it from the game. Relatively peaceful, add 4 cold to the cold space. Place this card on the Night Raid's deck. If there's at least 1 boarded up token in the shelter, skip this Night Raid phase. After you resolve this card, remove it from the game. Reality Impact, add 1 to the cold phase. Something unexpected has happened. Draw a card from the colors deck to determine the color of the script. Then revealing the top card of the events deck and check the number with that color on it. Afterwards, shuffle the event deck into the appropriate chapter of the events deck. Find that number in the book of scripts and resolve the corresponding text. After you resolve this card, remove it from the game. Rat Infestation, add 2 cold to the cold space. Discard all green tokens from the storage except for canned food, moonshine, and 100% alcohol. Then if you have a deadfall trap with a weight token on it, this trap provides 1 additional raw food during the dawn phase. After you resolve this card, remove it from the game. Harsh Winter, add 2 cold to the cold phase. Place this card permanently in the cold space. At the beginning of each morning phase, place 2 cold here. Food shortages, add 3 food to the cold, or 3 cold to the cold space. Can't read. Remove the following tokens from the box and from the storage into the waste bag. 1 canned food, 2 raw food, and 3 vegetables. After you resolve this card, remove it from the game. Famine, add 2 cold to the cold space. Place this card on the findings pile. If any card is already there, remove that card from the game. The value of canned food, raw food, and vegetables is raised by 3. Crime Wave, add 1 cold to the cold space. Place this card on the Night Raid's deck. During the Night Raid phase, draw 2 and resolve 2 Night Raid cards instead of 1. After you resolve this card, remove it from the game. Bad News, add 1 cold to the cold phase. Raise all characters' misery by 1. After you resolve this card, remove it from the game. Army Deals, place this card on the findings pile. If any card is already there, remove that card from the game. The value of cigarettes, moonshine, 100% alcohol, and jewelry is raised by 5. Add 3 cold to the cold space. Airdrop, add 3 cold to the cold space. If no character went scavenging during the previous night, add the following tokens to the storage: 2 canned food, 3 cigarettes, and 1 meds. After you resolve this card, remove it from the game. That is the last of the events deck. Now there's ending events. Crime on the Rise. Place this card on the Night Raids deck. Add 3 cold to the cold space. Until the end of the game, during each Night Raid phase, draw and resolve 2 Night Raid cards instead of 1. Contagious Illness. Add 2 cold to the cold phase. Raise all ill characters' illness by 1. After you resolve this card, remove it from the game. Ceasefire. Add 3 cold to the cold phase. The long-awaited ceasefire was finally agreed upon, putting an end to the fighting in Pogorin. Those who managed to survive the war in Grasnavia would never forget it. Play this day to its end, including the dawn phase, then resolve the epilogue C1000 in the Book of Scripts. Alright, the other 3 cards are chapter cards, chapter 1, 2, and 3. So I did these out of order, my bad. Chapter 1. Determine the objective for each of the 3 chapters of the campaign. Find a final objective card in the objective deck and place it on the objective space on the board. Then draw 2 more objective cards and place them on the final objective. These cards should be placed face up and may be looked at and you may look at them at any time during the game. Remove the remaining objective cards from the game. At the end of each chapter, resolve any reward penalty from the corresponding card. After you resolve this card, remove it from the game. Chapter 2. You just finished the first chapter of the campaign. Add the Night Raid and Residence cards that have not been used in the game, with a red corner, to their corresponding decks. Then resolve the top objective card, see the reward if you meet the conditions or penalty if you do not, and remove it from the game. You may save the game now or start the second chapter immediately by drawing the top event card to begin a new day. After you resolve this card, remove it from the game. Chapter 3. You've just finished the second chapter of the campaign. Resolve the top objective card, see the reward if you meet the conditions or the penalty if you do not, and remove it from the game. You may save the game now or start the third chapter immediately by drawing the top event card to begin a new day. After you resolve this card, remove it from the game. Alright, so that's those. Let's see. Let's see what our other cards are here. Alright, so they give you some blank cards. Now, I'm sure they serve some kind of function, or they just look pretty, I'm not sure. But there are 5 of them. So I'm just going to move those out of the way because they're kind of irrelevant. Then we have Fate cards, Exploration cards, that's a big deck. Characters, which I wish I'd opened this one first. Alright, let's go through these other ones real quick so we can see what the rest of our cards are, so I can do them in a more logical order. Or at least an order that makes more sense to me. Alright, so here's some objective cards. Rubble cards. Alright, some more Rubble cards. Findings. Visitors. And the last deck has Night Raids. Workshop stuff. Different things you can build. narrative actions, and a small deck labeled colors. Alright, so let's do the characters next because I should have done them first. So, character cards. We have Zlata, music student. 0 prowess, 8 empathy. She's got a guitar on her back. Spirit. A, if there is a guitar in the storage, lower 2 chosen characters' misery by 1. B, if any character in the group is miserable, level 2 or 3, raise Zeta's misery by 1. Comforting Presence. C, lower 2 chosen characters' misery by 1. For inventory. Next we have Roman, Deserter, 3 prowess, 3 empathy. Military training. During combat, Roman always rolls the yellow combat die unless he has a better weapon. Spirit, A, habit. Discard 1 cigarette from storage or raise Roman's misery by 1. B, if any character in the group is wounded, level 3, raise Roman's misery by 1. C, if Roman is wounded or ill, level 2 or 3, raise his misery by 1. 3 inventory. Next we have Pavle, soccer player, prowess 1, empathy 6. Fleet of foot. When Pavle is in the group fleeing from combat, reduce the number of backstab wounds by 2. Spirit, A, no effect. B, if Pavle is wounded, level 2 or 3, raises misery by 1. C, if there's a guitar in storage, lower 1 chosen character's misery by 1. 4 inventory. Next, Marco, firefighter, 2 prowess, 5 empathy. Break-in. Marco may use a hatchet to open locked doors as if he was using a lockpick. Alright, well, he was a firefighter. Spirit, A. If any character in the group is hungry, level 3, raise Marco's misery by 1. B or C, if Marco is ill, lower his illness by 1. 5 inventory. Alright, he looks like he's pretty useful. Marin, garage owner. Prowess 1, empathy 5. Handyman. During the day actions phase, when using the pokeabout action, Marin adds 3 to his black die roll. Spirit, A or B. Habit, discard 1 coffee from storage or raise Marin's misery by 1. C, if Marin is miserable, level 2 or 3, raise his illness by 1. 3 inventory. Kadia, reporter, 0 prowess, 7 empathy. Bargain, when trading with Kadia present, trade commission is lowered to 0. Spirit, A, habit, discard 1 coffee from storage or raise Kadia's misery by 1. B, if there's a guitar in storage, lower 1 chosen character's misery by 1. C, if Kadia is wounded, level 2 or 3, raise her misery by 1. 3 inventory. Emilia, lawyer, prowess 1, 3 empathy. Journal, at the beginning of the dawn phase, Emilia may raise her fatigue by any amount to lower her misery by the same amount. Spirit, A, habit, discard 1 coffee from storage or raise Emilia's misery by 1. B and C, if there are at least 2 cold tokens on the cold space, raise Emilia's misery by 1. 3 inventory. A lot of coffee drinkers here. Sveta, school headmistress, prowess 0, 9 empathy. Spirit, A, if any character in the group is hungry, level 3, raise Sveta's misery by 1. B, habit, discard 1 coffee from storage or raise Sveta's misery by 1. C, comforting talk, lower 1 chosen character's misery by 2. 2 inventory. Bruno, TV host, chef, 1 prowess, 2 empathy. Voila! You may sacrifice one of Bruno's actions during the day actions phase to roll the black die. Result of 6 to 10, add 1 vegetable to the storage. Spirit, A, habit. Discard 1 cigarette from storage or raise Bruno's misery by 1. B, if Bruno is hungry, level 2 or 3, raise his misery by 1. C, if Bruno is wounded, raise his misery by 1. 3 inventory. Boris, warehouse worker, 2 prowess, 5 empathy. Spirit A, if Boris is fatigued, level 2 or 3, raises misery by 1. B, habit, discard 1 cigarette from storage or raise Bruno's misery by 1. C, if Boris is wounded, lower his wounds by 1. 6 inventory. Arica, cat burglar, 2 prowess, 6 empathy. Sneaky, once per scavenging before rolling for the noise, Arica may lower the noise by 5. Burglar, when Arica uses a lockpick, she may reroll a die. Spirit A, habit, discard 1 cigarette from storage or raise Arica's misery by 2. B, if there's a guitar in storage, lower one chosen character's misery by 1. C, no effect. Inventory of 3. How does she have such a high empathy for a criminal? Anton, professor of mathematics, prowess 0, 7 empathy. Spirit A, if there is at least 1 book in storage, lower Anton's misery by 1 if he is miserable, and raises fatigue by 1. B, if Anton is hungry, level 2 or 3, raise his illness by 1. If Anton is wounded, raise his wounds by 1. 3 inventory. And that is the last of that deck. Alright, next we'll go with the exploration cards. Alright, exploration cards. Rubble, dig through, requires a shovel. Return 1 exploration card, raise the noise by 1, and roll for the noise. After digging through, add 5 cards from the exploration deck to the unknown deck. Draw and resolve 2 findings cards, Heap chart, then discard this Rubble card. Map card. Check the current location card for Rubble. If there is no Rubble, discard this card and draw a new card from the exploration deck. If there is Rubble, you may resolve this card immediately or place it in the exploration slot and resolve it later instead of drawing a new exploration card. Okay, open space. Move carefully, return 2 exploration cards and raise the noise by 2. Or run through, raise the noise by 3, and roll for the noise. Then discard this open space card. Map card, check the current location card for open space. If there is no open space, discard this card and draw a new card from the exploration deck. If there is an open space, resolve it immediately. Alright, jammed door. Map card, check the location card for jammed door. If there's no jammed door, discard this card and draw a new card from the exploration deck. If there is a jammed door, you may resolve this card immediately or place it on the exploration slot and resolve it later during instead of drawing a new exploration card. Jammed door, kick in, return 1 exploration card and raise the noise by 3 and roll for the noise. After entering, add 3 cards from the exploration deck to the unknown deck. Draw and resolve 1 findings card, furniture chart, then discard this jammed door card. Closed door. Map card. Check for a closed door. Discard this card if there isn't one. If there is a closed door, you can resolve it immediately or place it in the exploration slot and resolve it later. Pick the lock. Requires a lock pick. Return 1 exploration card and roll the black die. Result of 5 to 10, discard a lockpick and the door opens. After opening, add 5 cards from the exploration deck to the unknown deck. Draw and resolve 1 findings card, furniture chart, then discard the closed door. Basement entrance. Map card, look for the basement entrance. If there's no basement entrance, discard and draw a new card. If there is a basement entrance, you can resolve it immediately or place it on the exploration slot for later. Like usual, basement entrance, enter. Raise the noise by 3 and roll for the noise. After entering, add 5 cards from the exploration deck to the unknown deck. Also, you may discard this card during the scavenging to draw and resolve 2 finding cards instead of 1. Bars. Check the current location for bars. If there are no bars, Discard this card and draw a new card from the exploration deck. If there are bars, you may resolve this card immediately or place it on the exploration slot and resolve it later instead of drawing a new exploration card. Saw Through requires a saw blade. Return 2 exploration cards and roll for the noise. After sawing through, add 6 cards from the exploration deck to the unknown deck. Draw and resolve 1 findings card pantry chart, and then discard this bars card. Oh. This card is Tough Luck! Roll for the noise. Stairs up, look for another way, return the 2 exploration cards, or enter, raise the noise by 2, and roll for the noise. Stairs down, look for another way, return 3 exploration cards, or enter, raise the noise by 3, and roll for the noise. Or end exploration. That was on the other one too. The other staircase. Someone's here, raise the noise by 3, or end exploration. Reality impact, something unexpected has happened. Draw a card from the colors deck to determine the color of the script. Then check the number with that color on the exploration chart on this location's card. Find that number in the book of scripts and resolve the corresponding text. Afterward, place this card under the current location card. When that location card is removed from the game, shuffle this reality impact back into the exploration deck. So I'm assuming that's what these numbers are for, is when you draw on the colors deck. Reality impact, something unexpected has happened. Draw a card from the colors deck to determine the color of the script. Then draw a card from the exploration deck and check the number of that card. Find that number in the book of scripts and resolve the corresponding text. You may ignore this card or poke about. Return 1 exploration card or roll for the noise. To choose 1 finding from the special findings chart for this location, or end exploration. Private. You may ignore this card or search the pantry. Return 2 exploration cards or raise the noise by 1 and roll for the noise. To draw and resolve 1 card from the findings deck pantry chart, or end exploration. It says private up there, that's what the other cards were referencing. I think I saw something. Return as many exploration cards as you wish and roll the black die. Add the number of the returned exploration cards to the result. Result of 1 through 5, draw and resolve a residence card. Next we have, you may ignore this card or return 2 exploration cards to save it and use it anytime during the scavenging phase. Hiding place. After rolling for the noise, you may discard this card to ignore encounter, do not draw a resident card, or perform a backstab. See Journal Combat Sheet for description, or end exploration. You may ignore this card or return 2 exploration cards to save it. It's the same card, Hiding Place. Oh, this one's, yeah, this was the same. Ignore an encounter, do not draw a resident card, or perform a backstab. The number's the same at the bottom. It's got different numbers at the bottom. This one has, the first one we drew had 525, gray, that was black, gray 868, red 36, green 974, blue 394, and this one has black 997, gray 180, red 666, green 42, and blue 715. Alright, next we have, you may ignore this card or hideout. Return as many exploration cards as you wish and lower the noise by that same amount. Or end exploration. Next we have, you can ignore this card or search the heap. Return 2 exploration cards and raise the noise by 1, or raise the noise by 1 and roll for the noise. To draw and resolve 1 card from the findings deck, heap chart, or end exploration. Another search the heap. This one's got different numbers on it. Same general premise. Bottom of this card has black 606, gray 433, red 74, green 767, and blue 234. The second one has black 53, gray 917, red 128, green 259, and blue 730. Alright, another search the heap, but this one is a private card. Return 2 exploration tokens to raise the noise by 1, or raise the noise by 1, and roll for the noise to draw and resolve one card from the findings deck heap chart. Next we have, you may ignore this card or search the furniture. Digging around in the couch cushions, I guess. Return 2 exploration cards or raise the noise by 1 and roll for the noise to draw and resolve one card from the findings deck furniture chart. We have another search the furniture, same card except it's a private. Door, peek through the keyhole. Return 1 exploration card to look at the next card from the unknown deck. Or enter, raise the noise by 1 or roll for the noise. Or end exploration. Door, same thing. The first one was black 508, gray 27, red 724, green 188, and blue 673. This one is black 440, gray 153, red 62, green 731, and blue 830. And lastly, climb up. Look for another way. Return 3 exploration cards. Or climb. Roll the gray combat die for each scavenging characters. Characters may use their prowess to re-roll the results to determine how many wounds they suffered during the climb or end exploration. A lot going on in there. Alright, that's the exploration deck. Alright, let's look at the findings deck since that one was referenced. Alright, first up we've got Reality Impact. Something unexpected's happened. Draw a card from the colors deck to determine the color of the script. Then check the number with that color on the rare findings chart on the current location card. Find that number in the book of scripts and resolve the corresponding text. Afterwards, place this card under the current location card. When that location card is removed from the game, shuffle this Reality Impact back into the findings deck. Next we have, see the corresponding chart below, pantry, furniture, heap. And check what you found. Pantry, vegetable or 2 times coffee. Furniture, weapon part, raw food. Heap, electrical part, filter, weapon part. Then roll the black die for special findings and see the current location card for the result. Add the tokens to the findings pile. Afterward, shuffle this card back into the findings deck. Next we have, see the corresponding chart below, pantry, furniture, heap. To see what you found. Pantry, sugar, canned food. Furniture, book, chems, herbal meds. Heap, book, 2 times mechanical part. Then roll the black die for special findings and see the current location card for the result. Add the tokens to the findings pile. Afterwards, shuffle this card into the findings deck. See the corresponding chart. Pantry, furniture, heap. To check what you found. Pantry, moonshine, coffee, 2 times cigarette. Furniture, herb, mechanical part, weapon part. Heap, electrical part, filter, shell. Then roll the black die for special findings and see the current location card for the results. Add the tokens to the findings pile. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the findings deck. Alright, see the corresponding chart below, pantry, furniture, heap, and check out what you found. Pantry, raw food, moonshine, furniture, lockpick, sugar, meds. Heap, book, 2 times mechanical part. Then roll the black die for the special findings and see the current location card for the result. Add the tokens to the findings pile. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the findings deck. Next we have, see the corresponding chart, pantry, furniture, heap. Pantry, vegetable, cigarette. Furniture, knife, shell, cigarette. Heap, ammo, chems. Then roll the black die for special findings. See the current location card for the result. Add the tokens to the findings pile. Afterwards, shuffle the card back into the findings deck. Alright, pantry, food, furniture, heap. Pantry is raw food, coffee, sugar. Furniture is herb, book, moonshine, mechanical part. Heap, mechanical part, shell, weapon part. Then roll the black die for special findings and see the current location card for the result. Add the tokens to the findings pile. Afterwards, shuffle the card back into the findings deck. Next we have pantry, furniture, heap. Pantry, moonshine, vegetable, sugar. Furniture, vegetable, herb, bandages. Heap, electrical part. Chems, cigarette. Then roll the black die for special findings and see the current location card for the result. Add the tokens to the findings pile. Afterwards, shuffle back into the deck. Pantry, furniture, heap. Pantry, vegetable, sugar, cigarette. Furniture, electrical part, mechanical part, herb. Heap, broken guitar, shell. Then roll the black die for special findings and see the current location card for the result. Add the tokens to the findings pile. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the findings deck. Pantry, furniture, heap. Pantry, coffee, vegetable, 2 times 100% alcohol. Furniture, vegetable, weapon part, shell, heap, broken pistol, ammo. Then roll the black die for special findings and see the current location card for the result. Add the tokens to the findings pile. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the findings deck. And lastly, pantry, I can't talk now. Pantry, furniture, heap. Raw food, vegetable. In the pantry, furniture is herbal meds, jewelry, weapon part, filter. Heap, mechanical part, chems. Then roll the black die for special findings and see the current location card for the result. Add the tokens to the findings pile. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the findings deck. So that's the findings deck. There's not a lot there, but there's a lot of words. So let's get that out of the way. And we will look at the visitors deck next. Alright, visitors. A trader. You may perform a trade. See journal trade sheet. To exchange tokens from the storage for any other tokens. Trade commission 2. Afterwards, shuffle back into the visitor deck. Starving neighbor. Neighbor begs for any food you could spare. If you decide to share by discarding from the storage 1 canned food, raw food, vegetable, roll the black die and compare the result with each character's empathy. A result that is equal to or less than a character's empathy, lower their misery by 1. If you decide not to share, and you have such tokens in storage, roll the black die and compare the results with each character's empathy. A result that is equal to or less than a character's empathy raises their misery by 1. If you do not have such tokens in storage, nothing happens. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the visitor's deck. Reality impact. Something unexpected's happened. Draw a card from the colors deck to determine the color of the script. Then reveal the top card of the visitor's deck and check the number with the color on it. Find that number in the book of scripts and resolve the corresponding text. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the visitor's deck. Please help us. Your neighbor asks for help with barricading his property. If you agree, choose 1 character and place them on this card along with a wait token. This character will return to the shelter during the dawn phase when all wait tokens are resolved. They will be tired if they did not sleep at night. Then roll the black die. If you rolled 4 through 10, claim a gift from your neighbor and draw and resolve 1 card from the findings deck, pantry chart, but do not roll for special findings. Afterward, shuffle this card back into the visitor's deck. Gossip. Your neighbor pays you a visit. He wants to share some information he overheard. Look at the top card from the Night Raids, Events, Residence, Locations deck. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the visitor's deck. Doctor. A traveling medical practitioner offers to help you for a price. Discard tokens worth at least 10 to lower one chosen's character illness or wounds by 1. Only one character can benefit from the doctor's help. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the visitor's deck. Beggars. Beggars, of course, want foods and meds. If you decide to share by discarding from the storage any green-yellow tokens with a total value of 5 or more, roll the black die and compare the result with each character's empathy. A result that is equal to or less than a character's empathy, lower their misery by 1. If you decide not to share and you have such tokens in storage, roll the black die and compare the result with each character's empathy. A result that is equal to or less than a character's empathy, raise their misery by 1. If you don't have such tokens in storage, nothing happens. Afterwards, shuffle it back in the deck. Arrival. A feverish stranger asks for shelter. If you decide to take this person in, draw a card from the unused character deck and add them to your group. Place a level 1 illness token on them. Roll the black die for each character in your group and raise their illness by 1 on the result of 1 through 3. Add bandages, a shotgun, and 1 ammo to the storage, then remove this arrival card from the game. If you decide not to take this person in, you may buy any items this person is carrying. See Journal, Trade Sheet, Trade Commission 0, then shuffle this card back into the visitor's deck. Arrival. A wounded stranger asks for shelter. If you decide to take this person in, draw a card from the unused character deck and add them to your group. Place a level 2 wounds and a level 1 hunger token on them. Add a pistol and 1 ammo to the storage, then remove this arrival card from the game. If you decide not to take the person in, you may trade any items this person is carrying. See Journal, Trade Sheet, Trade Commission 0, then shuffle this card back into the visitor's deck. Arrival. A gravely wounded stranger asks for shelter. If you decide to take this person in, draw a card from the unused characters deck and add them to your group. Place a level 2 wounds token on them. Add raw food and 3 vegetables to the storage. Then remove this arrival card from the game. If you decide not to take this person in, you may buy any items this person is carrying. See Journal, Trade Sheet, Trade Commission 3. Then shuffle this card back into the visitor's deck. Next we have Arrival. A malnourished stranger asks for shelter. If you decide to take this person in, draw a card from the unused character deck and add them to your group. Place a level 3 hunger token on them. Add 3 mechanical parts, meds, and a knife to the storage. Then remove this arrival card from the game. If you decide not to take this person in, you may buy any items this person is carrying. See Trade Sheet, Trade Commission of 2. Then shuffle the card back into the visitor's deck. And lastly, Arrival. A grim and silent stranger asks for shelter. If you decide to take this person in, draw a card from the unused character deck and add them to your group. Place a level 3 misery token on them, add a hatchet and jewelry to the storage, then remove this arrival card from the game. If you decide not to take this person in, you may buy any items this person is carrying. See Journal, Trade Sheet, Trade Commission 0, then shuffle this card back into the visitor's deck. So that's all the visitors. Alright, let's go to the Fate deck. First up we have raise the wounds of all wounded unbandaged characters by 1. Heal the wounds of all characters who have had bandages by 1. Discard bandage tokens from all characters. If cold tokens minus boarded ups equals 3 or more, raise the illness of 3 chosen characters by 1. Exchange the nearest location. Resolve weight tokens. Resolve Spirit B on all character cards. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the Fate deck. 3 squiggly lines dodge lower wounds, suffer this round by 3. Next we have raise the illness of all ill characters who did not take any meds by 1. Heal the wounds of all characters who had bandages by 1. Discard bandage tokens from all characters. If cold tokens minus board ups equals 5 or more, raise the illness of all characters by 1. Exchange the nearest medium location. If there is none, excuse me, if there is none, exchange the nearest large location. Resolve weight tokens. Resolve Spirit A on all characters. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the Fate deck. When yellow dies, squiggly line, dismemberment, the target suffers 3 wounds. Alright, next Fate card. We have raise the wounds of all wounded, unbandaged characters by 1. Lower the illness of all characters who took meds by 1. Discard med tokens from all characters. If cold tokens minus board ups equal 2 or more, raise the illness of 2 chosen characters by 1. Exchange the nearest small location. If there is none, exchange the nearest medium location. Resolve weight tokens. Resolve Spirit B on all character cards. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the deck. Yellow squiggly line, weapon loss. The weapon is lost until the end of combat. This combatant fights as if unarmed. Alright, next we have raise the illness of all ill characters who did not take any meds, herbal meds, by 1. Heal the wounds of all characters who had bandages by 1. Discard bandage tokens from all characters. If cold tokens minus board ups equals 1 or more, raise the illness of 1 chosen character by 1. Exchange the nearest small location. Resolve weight tokens. Resolve Spirit C on all character cards. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the Fate deck. White die or gray die with the squiggly line knockout. The target suffers 3 wounds. Next we have raise the wounds of all wounded, unbandaged characters by 1. Lower the illness of all characters who took meds by 2. Discard med tokens from all characters. If cold tokens minus board ups equals 5 or more, raise the illness of all characters by 1. Exchange the nearest small location. Resolve weight tokens. Resolve Spirit A on all character cards. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the Fate deck. Gray die with the squiggly line. Stumble. Self-hit. The combatant suffers 1 wound. Next we have raise the illness of all ill characters who did not take any meds or herbal meds by 1. Discard herbal meds tokens from all characters. If cold tokens minus board ups equals 4 or more, raise the illness of 3 chosen characters by 1. Exchange the nearest location. Resolve weight tokens. Resolve Spirit A on all character cards. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the Fate deck. Headshot on a red squiggly line. The target suffers 3 wounds. And lastly, raise the wounds of all wounded, unbandaged characters by 1. Lower the illness of all characters who took meds by 1. Discard med tokens from all characters. If cold tokens minus board ups equals 4 or more, raise the illness of all characters by 1. Exchange the nearest small location. If there is none, exchange the nearest medium location. Resolve weight tokens. Resolve Spirit A on all character cards. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the Fate deck. Red die with the squiggly line. Jam. This weapon is jammed until the end of combat. This combatant fights as if unarmed. Alright, so that's the Fate deck. Alright, let's do Night Raids next. Alright, Night Raids. Thugs. Damage. Any 4 tokens, resources starting with tokens. Wounds 4. Afterwards, shuffle this card into the Night Raids deck. It's got the red exclamation at the top. Starving People. Damage. Any 4 tokens, resources starting with green tokens. Wounds 1. Afterward, remove this card from the game. Starving People. Damage. Any 4 tokens, resources starting with green tokens. Wounds 1. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the Night Raids deck. Reality Impact. Something unexpected's happened. Draw a card from the colors deck and determine the color of the script. Then reveal the top card of the Night Raids deck and check the number with that color on it. Find that number in the book of scripts and resolve the corresponding text. Afterward, shuffle this card back into the Night Raids deck. Alright, Raging Gang. Damage any 8 tokens, starting with the most expensive. Wounds 5. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the Night Raids deck. Another exclamation point. So, memories. Choose a character currently on guard duty, check their misery, and roll the black die. Oh my. Find that number in the book of scripts and resolve the corresponding text. So if their misery is 0 to 1, you'd go down and compare this number with their name. There's 1 through so if they have 0 to 1, you roll the d10, and 1 through 3 is the first column, 4 through 6 is the second column, 7 through 8, and then 9 through 10. And that their misery is 2 to 3, same deal. So there's a lot of options there. There's a lot going on that could go horribly, horribly wrong. Looters. Another exclamation card. Damage any 6 tokens, resources, starting with the most expensive. Wounds 2. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the Night Raid deck. Looters. Damage any 6 tokens, resources, starting with the most expensive. Wounds 2. Afterward, remove this card from the game. Exclamation point. Night Raid. Hobos. Those dirty hobos. Damage any 3 tokens, resources, starting with the most expensive. Wounds 0. Afterward, remove this card from the game. And lastly, Rugged Hoodlums. Damage any 6 tokens, starting with green tokens. Wounds 3. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the Night Raid deck. And that's another exclamation point. So that's the Night Raids deck. Alright, let's see what have we got next. We'll do colors here. Alright, color red. Shuffle this card back into the colors deck. Note the red reality impact scripts often depict drastic scenes. If you do not wish to have such events in your game, remove this card from the game and draw another color card. Color gray. Shuffle this card back into the colors deck. Color greens. Shuffle it back into the deck. Color blue. Shuffle back into the deck. And color black. Shuffle this card back into the colors deck. Note the black reality impact scripts often depict blind and merciless fate. If you do not wish to have such events in your game, remove this card from the game and draw another card. So there's some pretty adult material in here. They have to put a trigger warning on the cards. On 2 of the cards. There's not that many colors in the game. There's only 5. So yeah, that's tells me a little bit about what you can expect. Alright, let's look at narrative action. Dun, dun, dun. There's quite a few of these. Let's hope they're quick. Who's there? Play at the end of the phase. Draw and resolve 2 cards from the visitor deck. After playing this card, remove it from the game. Vigilant Watch. Play during the Night Raid phase. Lower the damage wounds from a single Night Raid card by 4 tokens, resources, wounds. Still requires at least 1 character to be on guard duty. After playing this card, remove it from the game. Through the Sewers. Play at the end of the Night Raid phase. A chosen character on guard duty may bring additional items from the findings pile to the storage. This character may bring as many tokens, resources as they can normally carry. After playing this card, remove it from the game. Rumors. Play at any time. Take a look at the top card from any 2 of the following decks. Events, Visitors, Residents, Night Raids. After playing this card, remove it from the game. Resourceful. Play when crafting any fitting. Ignore the requirements for one of the resource token types. After playing this card, remove it from the game. Night Owl. Play at the beginning of the evening phase. Choose 1 character. This character may now perform all of their actions again as if it were the day actions phase. After playing this card, remove it from the game. Like a Mouse. Play during the scavenging phase. Instead of rolling for the noise, set the noise marker to 1. After playing this card, remove it from the game. Kick the door down. Play during the day actions phase or during the scavenging phase. You automatically open a closed door. After playing this card, remove it from the game. Secret storage. Play at the beginning of the night raid phase. Place any 3 tokens, resources from the storage on this card. They are ignored when the night raid damage is resolved. Play after playing this card, remove it from the game. Headshot. Play during any combat or during your backstab. If you are using a firearm, discard 1 ammo to automatically kill 1 enemy. Or play during the night raid phase. If the character on guard duty has a firearm, discard 1 ammo to automatically ignore 1 night raid card. After playing this card, remove it from the game. It says 3 ammo up in the corner. Not sure what that means, but I'll find out when I play, I suppose. Handyman. Play at any time. Automatically exchange a broken item for its fully functional equivalent without using any resources or tokens. After playing this card, remove it from the game. That's a nice one. Got it. Play during the scavenging phase. When resolving findings, you also find a knife. After playing this card, remove it from the game. Duty. Play during the day action phase. Raise 1 chosen character's fatigue by 1 to automatically remove 1 Rubble Remnants card without losing an action. After playing this card, remove it from the game. Dead On. Play during any combat or during your backstab. If you are wielding a hatchet, automatically kill 1 enemy. Or playing during the night raid phase. If the character on guard duty has a hatchet, automatically ignore 1 night raid card. After playing this card, remove it from the game. Pretty handy. Close Call. Play during any combat. Ignore all wounds from a single combat die roll. Or play during the night raid phase. Ignore all wounds from 1 night raid card. After playing this card, remove it from the game. Alright, so these are pretty nice. Some good stuff in here. This is the narrative action deck. That's a nice addition to the game. I like that. Alright. Next up, let's do the building cards here. Alright, so these are Build a Workshop things. So these are green cards. So here we have Build a Workshop, 1 mechanical part, 5 components, 3 wood. Workshop. You could make board up, make parts, make filters, repair gutter, or guitar. That's a big difference. So yeah, you need different components to do stuff, but yeah, that one will let you build the workshop. Build a simple heater, 5 components, 3 wood. Make a fire. For each 2 wood books, discard 1 cold token. Build a rainwater collector, 1 filter, 1 mechanical part, 5 components, 2 wood. And this will let you do rainwater collector. Collect water, place a weight token here. When weight tokens are resolved, roll the black die and consult the table below. Add the amount of water to storage. Result 1, 1 water, 2 to 5, 2 water, 6 to 8, 3 water, 9 to 10, 4 water. Build a radio. 2 mechanical parts, 2 electrical parts, 3 components. Radio, tune in. Look at the top 2 cards from the event deck or the top 2 card from the Night Raids deck. Relax, roll the black die. 8 to 10, lower the misery of the character placed here by 1. Build a moonshine still. Woo! 1 mechanical part, 2 components, 2 wood. Make moonshine, 1 sugar, 1 water, 1 wood / book. Place a weight token here. When weight tokens are resolved, roll the black die and consult the table below, adding the amount of moonshine to storage. 1 to 4 is 1 moonshine, 5 to 7 is 2, 8 to 10 is 3 moonshine. Build a metal workshop, 5 components, 3 wood. Lets you craft an item. 1 component plus 1 mechanical part equals lockpick. 3 components plus 1 wood is a shovel. 1 mechanical part plus 1 component is a saw blade. 1 weapon part plus 2 components plus 1 wood is a knife. 1 wood, 2 weapon parts plus 2 components is a hatchet. After resolving the action, add the appropriate token to the storage. Build an herbal garden. 1 mechanical part, 4 components, 4 wood. Cultivate herbs. 1 chemical, 1 chems, 1 water, place a weight token. When the weight tokens are resolved, add 3 herbs to storage. Roll cigarettes. For each 1 herb, 1 cigarette. Prepare herbal meds. Requires 100% alcohol to be in storage. For each herb, yields 1 herbal meds. After resolving this action, add the appropriate token to storage. Build a deadfall trap. 2 mechanical parts, 5 components, 2 wood. Set the trap. 1 chems, raw food, place a weight token. When the weight tokens are resolved, roll the black die and consult the table, adding the amount of raw food to storage. 1 to 2 is nothing. 3 to 7 is 1 raw food. 8 to 10 is 2 raw food. Build a crude stove. 2 mechanical parts, 5 components, 3 wood. And this lets you prepare a meal. 2 herbs plus 1 water plus 1 wood/book is 1 vegetable. Cook a dinner. 1 raw food plus 1 water plus 1 wood book yields 2 raw food. After resolving this action, add the appropriate tokens to storage. Build a bed. 3 components, 4 wood. Bed. Take a nap. Lower the fatigue of the character placed here by 2. Note: sleeping in the bed for a whole night removes all fatigues from a character. See journal the evening phase. Alright, so that's the some of the stuff you can build there. Let's look at the orange deck. Improve herbal garden to vegetable garden. Place next to the herbal garden. 2 mechanical parts, 2 electrical parts, 2 components, 2 wood. Grow vegetables. 1 chem plus 1 water. Place a weight token. When weight tokens are resolved, roll black die, adding the amount of vegetables to storage. 1 through 5, 1 vegetable. Result of 6 to 8, 2 vegetables. Result of 9 or 10, 3 vegetables. Build a reinforced door. Place in the guard space. Note: requires 3 board ups already placed in the shelter. 1 mechanical part, 1 electrical part, 3 components, 5 wood. Reinforced door adds +2 to the prowess of each character on guard duty. See journal the night raid phase. Improve herbal garden to herbal workshop. Place next to the herbal garden. 2 mechanical parts, 2 electrical parts, 4 components, 2 wood. Make meds. Requires filter to be in the storage. For each 1 herb, 1 chem yields 1 meds. Make bandages. Requires 100% alcohol to be in storage. For each 1 herb plus 1 filter yields 1 bandages. After resolving this action, add the appropriate tokens to the storage. Improve metal workshop to gunsmith workshop. Place next to the metal workshop. 3 mechanical parts, 8 components, 4 wood. Repair 1 firearm. Broken assault rifle plus 2 weapon parts yields an assault rifle. Broken pistol plus 1 weapon part yields pistol. Broken shotgun plus 2 weapon parts yields shotgun. Make ammo. Requires chems to be in storage. For each 1 shell, yield 1 ammo. After resolving this action, add the appropriate tokens to storage. Improve simple heater to efficient heater. Excuse me. Place next to the simple heater. 2 mechanical parts, 1 electrical part, 3 components. From now on, the simple heater uses 1 wood or book instead of 2. Improve crude stove to cooking stove. Place next to the crude stove. 2 mechanical parts, 5 components, 5 wood. Cooking stove. From now on, dinner provides 1 additional raw food. Build a chair. 1 component, 2 wood. After crafting the chair, lower all characters' misery by 1. Rest. Roll the black die. Result 6 to 10. Lower the misery of the character placed here by 1. For each book in storage, add +2 to the roll. And it's not even like a recliner, it's just a wooden chair. Improve the deadfall trap to cage trap. Place next to the deadfall trap. 2 mechanical parts, 3 components, 2 wood. From now on, the Deadfall Trap receives +3 bonus to its black die results. Build a bed. 3 components, 4 wood. Take a nap. Lower the fatigue of the character placed here by 2. Note, sleeping in the bed for a whole night improves all fatigue from a character. See Journal, the evening phase. Improve moonshine still to alcohol still. Place next to the moonshine still. 2 electrical parts, 1 mechanical part, 3 components, 3 wood. The distill 100% alcohol. For each 1 moonshine plus 1 wood/book, yields 100% alcohol. After resolving this action, add the appropriate tokens to storage. And that's that deck. Alright, so let's see what we've got next here. Alright, Rubble Remnants. You got blue tab up in the corner here. Well, these are Rubble cards, I should say. That's the other side. Rubble, dig through, requires a shovel or 2 characters. Rubble Remnants, dig through, requires a shovel or 2 characters. Remove this card from the game. Same thing. Third one, 4th one, 5th one, and 6th one. That was easy. There's 6 of those. Nothing special about it. Alright, we got bars. Closed doors. Furniture. Heap. Alright, so we got a bunch of little stuff here. Start with bars because there's only one of that. Bars, cut through, requires a saw blade. You gain 3 components, 1 mechanical part. Add these to the storage and remove this card from the game. Closed doors. Closed door, pick the lock, requires a lock pick. There's only 3 of these. First one, you gain 1 component, 1 wood. Add these to storage and remove this card from the game. Next one, you gain 1 mechanical part, 1 wood. Add these to storage and remove this card from the game. Lastly, you gain 3 wood. Add these to storage and remove this card from the game. Alright, so the fact that there's only a few locked doors and 1 bars and not a lot of this other stuff, it's a little disconcerting because that's not a lot of stuff to dig through. We got 4 heap cards. These require search action. You gain 1 lockpick, 2 components, 5 wood. Add these to storage and remove this card from the game. Next we have you gain 1 electrical part, 1 water, 3 components. Add these to storage and remove the card from the game. Next we have 5 components and 5 wood. Add these to storage and remove the card from the game. And lastly, you gain 1 weapon part, 1 sugar, 5 components, 2 wood. Add these to storage and remove this card from the game. Alright, furniture deck. There are, what, 5 of these? Yep. Alright, first up we've got, you gain 2 mechanical parts, 2 electrical parts, 1 raw food, 1 wood. Add these to storage and remove this card from the game. Next we have, you gain 1 vegetable, 2 herbs, 1 bandages, 1 water, 1 wood. Add these to storage and remove this card from the game. Next we have 1 meds, 1 herb, 1 mechanical part, 2 water, 1 wood. Add these to the storage and remove this card from the game. Next we have 1 raw food, 1 mechanical part, 1 sugar, 1 wood. Add these to storage and remove this card from the game. And lastly, you gain 1 jewelry, 2 books, 1 lockpick, 2 components, 1 wood. Add these to storage and remove the card from the game. Alright, so that's all the furniture cards. Now our last deck is Final Objective. So let's see what these look like. Oh, there's Final Objective, there's Chapter Objectives. Alright, so the Chapter Objectives, we have 2, 4, 6, 7 of them. So let's do these first before the Final Objective, since there's only one of that one. Chapter Objective, staying fit. At the end of the chapter, all characters' hunger must be 0. Reward, clear mind, draw 2 additional narrative action cards. Penalty, broken morale. Raise all characters' misery by 2. Taking care of ourselves. At the end of the chapter, each character's misery must be lower than 2. Reward, unity. For each character, choose any one state and lower it by 1. Penalty, capitulation. Raise one chosen character's illness by 2. Next we have soldiers disarm the civilians. Discard a functional firearm from the storage. Reward, peace. During the next night raid phase, do not draw a night raid card. Penalty, beating. Distribute 3 wounds between characters. Food for the hungry. At any moment, you may discard any number of raw food, canned food without resolving their effects. For each discarded token, advance the objective marker by 1 to 2 respectively. 1 for raw food, 2 for canned food. Reward, gratitude. Immediately craft 1 fitting for free, even from the ideas deck. Penalty, broken morale. Raise all characters' misery by 2. Wow. Water delivery for local thugs. At any moment, you may discard any amount of water without resolving its effects. For each discarded water, advance the objective marker by 1. Reward, payoff. Add 10 wood / components to the storage. Penalty, raid. Discard 6 tokens, resources, starting with the most expensive. Collect vegetables for the refugees. At any moment, you may discard any number of vegetables without resolving their effects. For each discarded vegetable, advance the objective marker by 1. Reward, help. Remove any 2 Rubble remnants cards. Penalty, broken morale. Raise all characters' misery by 2. And lastly, help the sick and wounded in our area. At any moment, you may discard any number of meds, bandages without resolving their effects. For each discarded meds, bandages, advance the objective marker by 1. Reward, help. Lower all characters' misery by 2. Penalty, epidemic. Raise all characters' illnesses by 1. Alright, those are a mixed bag. There's some kind of nasty stuff in there. And lastly, the final objective card. Survive. At least one character from the starting group must survive until the end of the game, with each state, the hunger, the misery, the wounds, and the illness, equal to or less than 2. The fatigue is ignored. Alright, that one's pretty straightforward. We're going to look at the full map. I'll zoom the camera out, and until then we'll give you a little look at this special insert thing here. This is the last day. It's just setup, scenario objective, changes and rules. This is, I think, one of the Kickstarter things that they did. And then there's Endless Night, which has another setup and changes and rules. I'm sure you could pause the video and take a little glance at that. It should come up okay in the video. But yeah, it's just a overview of another scenario. Basically, this is just a bonus thing they give you. I'm sure you can find it online if you look. But yeah, that is what is inside the box. We're going to do a quick layout of the map. I'll pan out, so I should be able to get most of it on the table here. But the book of scripts is pretty cool. I do like that it does have so many different options. So you can go flip through to a specific spot. And look at all this. This is very thick. There's a lot here. I like this idea quite a bit. I think it's really smart. And it should be a lot of fun. So we'll look at the map fully laid out, and then we'll wrap up the video. So thanks for sticking with me this long, and give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Alright, this is about the best I can do with this, unfortunately. But here you get a better view of the map. Sorry about a little bit of the glare from the light box over here. But yeah, this is the findings pile. Outside, new idea, poke about, closed door, rubble, rubble, closed door, rubble. Gets you a much better overview. Over here you've got your card piles, you got your findings, night raids, unknown, discards, exploration slot, resonance, exploration. Unarmed is the great eye, yellow is melee, and red is firearm. Noise marker, token, track, close, distant, far, different locations deck, cold pile, events, objectives, visitors, characters, fittings, ideas, fate, narrative actions, colors, storage. And you got more rubble down here. And the other side is a slightly different map. So, give you kind of an idea. I thought I'd save this for the end because I wasn't sure if I was going to do it because I'm super lazy. But I wanted to be able to give you kind of a better overview of what the map looks like when it's folded out, as opposed to what I was doing earlier. So that is what is inside the box for this War of Mine. Looks like a really fun game, and you can play it solo, and it almost looks like it's designed to be more of a solo game. I think it would probably be a little bit more fun to play by yourself because you won't have somebody else screwing up all your ideas. It's a real heavy box, but there's a lot there, and it looks like it's a blast to play. And the video game seems very popular, and I've heard good things about that. I have no doubt this will be a blast to play too. And if you like Dead of Winter or any games like that, you'll probably dig this too. But that'll do it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you on the next episode of What's Inside. And speaking of that, the next episode should be the stretch goals and the Kickstarter bonuses for this, so be sure to check that out. Thanks for watching.